Welcome to A Girl's Guide to, the podcast designed to help women in their 20s enhance their minds, love their bodies, and heal their souls. I'm your host, Michaela, a girl navigating her 20s and helping you do the same. I am so happy and grateful that you are here. Let's dive in. Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of A Girl's Guide to. Today I am bringing you a fun, spontaneous, last-minute solo episode. If you follow the Instagram page for the podcast, then you may have seen I was having some technical difficulties with the recording that was supposed to go live today, so we're going to have to re-record and get that published at a later date. But for today's late episode, I want to dive into the world of dating in your 20s because I recently have had some experiences that I've learned from, and I also navigated differently than I would have when I was younger, like 17, 18. So I wanted to kind of share how I've been navigating single life as a 23-year-old woman and how you can do the same. So, before I dive in, let me give you just a quick background of where I've been at with dating. So, I've only been in two serious relationships in my entire life, one from when I was 15 to 18, and then I had almost a year being single, and then met my second boyfriend at 18 later in that year and dated him from when I was 18 to 21. Yeah. So they were both like 3-year long relationships with less than a year in between. And in that short period of time, I was 18 and I had some fun with the hookup scene, a little bit of hookup phase, not anything too crazy. I was always very protective and didn't do anything wild like meet up with complete strangers. There were always people that I knew, but I had my fun then. And then when I met my second boyfriend, that was the more serious relationship of the two, the one that I really did think I was going to be with forever. But a lot of growth happened from when I was 18 to 21, a lot of personal growth, and I wasn't seeing that being reciprocated in the person that I was with, and for that reason, I had to end the relationship. I've actually ended both relationships, and I feel it's just because I'm hyper aware of myself and just knowing when things are no longer aligning, which is something that I've now taken into this chapter of my life of being single. So it's been about 2 years since I ended the relationship, but I really say like 1 year completely single because unfortunately it was very hard. I mean, I think that's pretty normal. It was very hard to leave that relationship, and I was going through a lot of personal stuff at the time, so having him being like a place of comfort for me, we were talking and seeing each other still after we had broken up. So it's been like truly 1 year of me not talking to my ex and being by myself and not honestly putting myself out there a ton. I really have seen the value in being alone. I've really learned to appreciate getting to know myself, right? Because when you're dating, you are taking so much time and so much effort to get to know another person. Obviously, that's the whole point of dating, seeing how compatible you are with different people and if the vibes are right. But when do we ever really consider that we should be doing that with ourselves? In a way, we should be dating ourselves, right? Especially when we're in our early 20s and we're in this new chapter of our lives where we've changed a lot since we had those high school relationships, or the relationships when we were a teenager or whatever. We've grown a lot since then. So our interests and our expectations and just what we are looking for in a partner most likely has changed. And how you can recognize those things and how you can come to terms with this, expectation kind of list is by getting to know yourself, by getting to know what is it that makes you feel good? What are your love languages? How do you want to be treated? What's important to you versus what's not? Like, I remember when I would go on dates with my ex when we had first started talking, and the questions that I had asked him at that time, I look back at it now and just think how silly, because they were questions of, what's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? And, just the very silly little high school type questions that you ask. And now dating, it's like, I don't give a fuck what your favorite color is. Like, I don't care what kind of food you like to eat. What are your goals? What are your ambitions? What are you doing in your life right now to grow and to develop? And so there's just a lot more that I am looking for now, and I'm sure you can say the same, than when I was back then. So I've really taken this last year or so to figure that out because, like I said, both relationships were 3 years long. So I went from, you know, being single for 15 years of my life to being in relationships for 6 years practically, and didn't really know who I was when I broke up with my most current ex. So taking the time to be with myself is the best thing, and I'm so happy I didn't rush into dating, and I encourage you to do the same if you maybe are just getting over a breakup, or you're single and kind of wondering, when are you going to find the right person and are they going to come? I will say yes, that can happen and you will attract them. I'm going to get into that in a little bit, but embrace this time of being alone. Embrace this time of figuring out who you are as this young woman in this new chapter of your life, and truly fall in love with yourself. That is the biggest tip that I could give to any young woman looking to find love, hoping to find love. The biggest lesson that I have learned is that you have to fall in love with yourself, because if you are searching for love from others because you don't love yourself, the love that you receive from others is never ever going to feel like it's enough. It's always going to feel great, obviously, right? We love to feel loved by others. We love to be that person for someone else, but you have to be that person for yourself, I believe, before you can really be the partner you want to be in a relationship, and before you can attract the partner that you want in a relationship. So, falling in love with yourself, taking yourself on dates, once again, learning about yourself, and treating yourself as you would want to be treated. And this really goes back to the law of attraction, and how, I believe the law of attraction just runs everything in our lives. But think about how you would want this person to treat you, and ask yourself, are you treating yourself that way? So, for example, something that I have been working on is complimenting myself more often, and really being my own hype woman. Like, I love words of affirmation in a relationship. I love being complimented and my partner telling me that I look so beautiful or sexy or whatever. But I have to be the person that tells myself that first, right? I have to be the one to show myself what it's like to be loved in the way that I want to be loved. So when that person comes into my life, I can say, yes, this is exactly how I want to be loved, because I know it feels good when I do it for myself. So it's going to feel even better having another person do these things for me. So really falling in love with yourself and not rushing the process, not rushing the journey of falling in love. It shouldn't be it should be a slow process, right? It should be something that you really take your time to consider and to think about, because you never want to waste your time. I say that lightly, because I don't really believe in time being wasted 100%. I think when it comes to relationships, sometimes we look back at them and we say, oh, I wasted my time with that person. Why did I stay with them for that long? But then you can look back at it later on in life and realize why, and realize all the lessons that you learned. So I don't necessarily think that being in a relationship is a waste of time, but I do think that you can protect your energy and protect where you're spending your time if you are whole. If you don't have these voids that you're looking to be filled by other people, if you fill those voids for yourself, if you do the inner work, I think that when you start to date again, it's going to feel a lot more fun. It's going to feel stress free, and you're not going to have so much pressure on yourself, because you know that really you don't need anybody else. That's kind of where I'm at, is like, I want to start dating again, and I have the dream of being a wonderful partner and a wonderful mother. I know that I am already those things just instinctually. Is that a word? But by nature, But I lost my train of thought. Oh, what was I saying there? Got it. It came back to me. When you have so much self love and self confidence and you've fallen in love with yourself, you don't need anybody. It's more of a want. It's more of hey, I want to do life with somebody else, with a best friend, with a soulmate, with a partner, but I don't necessarily need that. And when you approach it in that way, for me at least, dating has become a lot more fun because once again, I know that I don't need somebody. And really, what I'm looking for is somebody who's just going to be a bonus to my life. Somebody who's going to simply add value in ways that maybe I struggle in, or maybe, ways that I do for myself, but they maybe do a little bit more. But I never want to go into a relationship looking for something from somebody that I'm not giving to myself, because I feel that that can be just very unhealthy and toxic. So essentially, what I'm saying here to start this whole thing off is, before you even consider dating, whether it's fresh for you, like brand new, you've never done it before, or you're just getting back into it, I really want you to evaluate yourself and ask yourself, is this the right time? Do you feel like you've done enough work on yourself to know exactly the things that you are deserving of and that you want? And are you giving yourself that love? Because if you are not, then I recommend not jumping into dating right now and actually dating yourself and figuring out who it is that this beautiful woman you are is. So, that is that's where we're starting. But for those of you who are ready to date like myself, it can be really fun, especially when you get to this place of, I don't need this. I'm just kind of doing it because I want to meet people, I want to connect, I want to see where things can go. It's so much more fun. So, I want to give a little bit of a story of what recently has happened in my life. Nothing like crazy. I don't have a new boyfriend or anything, so don't get your hopes up. But I did meet somebody recently when I was in a wedding. So I was in a wedding last weekend, and the bartender at the, I always want to say dress rehearsal. Rehearsal dinner. Every time I go to say it, I say dress rehearsal, and I'm just thinking, oh gosh, you can totally tell I'm a theater kid. But the rehearsal dinner for this wedding, there was a bartender there, and we chatted a bit, and he was cute, and we kind of hit it off. And basically, he ended up bartending the wedding as well, so I got to see him 2 days after the rehearsal dinner for the wedding, and we exchanged contacts, ended up getting his number. We've chatted a little bit here and there. As of now, I really don't see it going anywhere, honestly. The vibes are just off now that I'm kind of getting to know him a little bit more. It's just not really fitting. But the whole point of why I want to talk about this story is because of how I approached the situation and how I approached him with confidence. That is going to be the big word of this episode, is confidence. And it literally, I hope that at least one person listening or watching understands this reference. But there is a TikToker, and I can't think of his name right now, but he calls all of his viewers Pookie, and it's the way you act. He's that guy. So if you know what I'm talking about, I love you. If you don't, go find him on TikTok. He's so funny. He's very handsome too. But that was what I had playing in my head this whole time. I'm like having this interaction with this guy, and, you know, approaching him and kind of taking control of the situation. I'm just thinking, it's the way you act, bitch. Because, like, if you act confident, you don't even have to be confident. Obviously, that's something that I encourage every person to work on, but especially young women, is working on your confidence. which is something I've taken a lot of time to do with the time I've had being single. So I approached him very confidently and kind of started the conversation. I thought that he was cute, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna give eye contact when I'm talking to him. I'm gonna compliment him. I'm gonna ask him questions. And when you do this, it really takes the pressure off of you because you're putting the ball in their court essentially, right? By complimenting them and asking them questions. And then if they are feeling the vibe and they're confident too, they're going to throw it back at you. And then it's going to be so much easier to have a back and forth conversation. But don't be afraid to approach people. I personally am not on dating apps and I don't recommend it. But I know that everybody is a bit different. But this is really how I am working on dating and putting myself back out there is interacting with people when I go places. So whether that be like in this case, the dinner or maybe at the club or the grocery store or anywhere really. If you see somebody that you think is attractive, tell them. I always think about how for us women, and I know obviously not everyone watching is dating men. So if that's not you, then this might be a little bit different for you, but I think about how as a straight girl, I'm always so quick to compliment other girls. But then when it comes to complimenting guys, I get nervous. So that is something that I'm working on because I'm just thinking, why? Why do I get nervous? And when we compliment girls, right, women supporting women, there's such a good energy there. It always feels very good. I mean, maybe not always. Sometimes you have people who might be cold, but it always feels so good. And then usually she'll throw something back at you. So very similarly to that, when it comes to guys, compliment them. Guys love to be complimented too. They want to hear that you think that they're attractive or handsome or sexy or whatever it is that you want to say. I think sometimes as women, we expect so much, which, you know, your expectations are never too much. I think it's good to have expectations and good to know what you are deserving of and good to know your worth, of course. But I think sometimes we forget that men like those things too and men deserve those things too. So it's important to give that energy to them. And if you are the one to start with that very confident energy of, hey, for my example, this guy had a really nice tie on. So I said, I really like your tie. And it was blue and he had beautiful blue eyes as well. So I said, it complements your eyes so nicely. Very simple. Something that I probably would have said to a girl who had blue eyes and a blue dress on, right? Like, it doesn't have to be something so hard. I feel like people get so in their heads when it comes to flirting. It really is just about being nice, I think. I really think it's just about complimenting people and asking them questions about themselves. You don't have to like have super sexy talk and, try so hard. I feel like people get so nervous when it comes to flirting, but it's really just about being yourself and approaching the situation with confidence. And people love confidence, okay? And I've always kind of been in the position of, well, I'm not going to approach a guy because I don't want to get turned down or, I'm just shy or I'm nervous. That energy, if you put that out there, that's the energy you're going to get back and you're probably not going to have anybody approach you. But if you approach it in the way of, I am confident, I think that person is cute, I'm going to just let them know and hey, whatever happens, happens, that is a much more attractive energy, not just in the sense of attractive to this potential partner or, person you might end up going on a date with, but just attractive energy to the universe, signaling what it is that you want to be receiving back. So, confidence is key, okay? And also communicating what it is that you're looking for, kind of like upfront. Obviously, we know that communication is key when it comes to having a healthy and successful relationship. And I think that is the exact same way to approach the dating stage and not be afraid to voice your opinion on something if something is said that maybe you don't really vibe with, or just explaining the things that you're looking for. I've made the mistake, earlier in the year, I went on a date and I felt I made the mistake of kind of unintentionally leading the guy on by not explaining that, I was very new to the dating world and I'm not looking for anything serious. And I didn't bring that up. So I ended up just kind of like ghosting him. And I didn't feel that that was appropriate. He didn't do anything to deserve that. So this time around, I learned my lesson and I said, okay, I'm going to be upfront and honest pretty much right off the bat, because once again, kind of going back to wasting your time, if you're going to be dating, you want to make sure you're on the same page with the people that you are getting to know, because once again, you don't really want to be wasting your time. And if you're looking to just take things very slowly and you want to date around, you want to get to meet people, you want to connect, but maybe this person wants something more serious and they're not really looking to date around, they're really into you and really just want to get to know you, then that might not be a good fit, right? But the only way that you're going to know these things is by communicating how you feel and just being straight up and honest. And that comes with being confident, because if you're confident in yourself, if you're confident in what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you want from the person, or just confident just in yourself, right? Like this guy has said some things via text that I'm just kind of like, that's weird. I don't really fuck with that. And I'll tell him that. I'll be like, yeah, that's weird that you said that. Or, in a better way, I think. But basically, just communicating how I truly honestly feel. And I think that is going to set up any relationship for success, because if you are communicating right off the bat, right up front, about how it is that you feel about things, and then based on what this person's response is, that's going to tell you a lot about them, right? It's going to tell you whether or not they value the way that you communicated something, or if they respected it, right? So that is another tip that I have, is to really just be open and honest and communicate and kind of just have fun. That's like the biggest thing that you can do when you're getting back into dating, is have fun, and don't put so much pressure on it and look at it as something like, I have to find my person. I have to, this date has to go perfect. It might not go perfect. The date might suck, and that's okay. You can learn where things went wrong, or what you might be able to do next time to make it better. Or, you may learn about certain characteristics or traits that that person had that now you don't really fuck with. So you can be on the lookout for those in the next person. But really just have a good time and get to know people, just as if you were to be making friends. Essentially, it's pretty much the same, right? Just with a relationship, you want that romantic factor as well, but have a good time. Just be yourself, and remember that the energy that you are putting out is the energy that you are going to get back. So the more confident you are, the more sure of yourself that you are, the just happier and more fun that you are with the whole situation. I truly believe that that is what you will receive back. And just remember too that the universe has a plan, or your higher power, God, whoever it is that you believe in, whatever it is that you believe that there is a path that was created for you, and that if a partner is something you truly see for yourself on that path, it will come. It will come. You just have to have patience and remember that it will come in divine timing. Not necessarily when you want it, but more so when the universe or your higher power feels that you are ready for it and feels that it's the right time for you. Sometimes we think that we want things when we don't really want them. That's kind of something that I'm learning as well, because I had another another little experience this past weekend where I actually did go out, and I was thinking maybe I just need to have like a little hookup phase again for a little bit. So I did end up going out with someone on Friday, somebody who I have known actually for like a year. We've always been kind of flirty with each other, but never like have done anything. So we were chatting and getting a little flirty, and we ended up going out on Friday, and literally I couldn't do it. I could not hook up with this guy, and that's just perfect example of what I'm saying, of like sometimes we think we want things and then we chase them and then we realize, oh shit, this actually isn't what I want. Maybe I should just kind of let go and let the universe take control. And that's kind of what I'm doing now, because it got to the point of our little date or whatever where, the vibes were okay, something's gonna happen here, like we're gonna make out or something. And I had to just be real with him and tell him, like, look, it has nothing to do with you as far as like me not thinking that you're attractive or fun. Like, I had a nice time. It just didn't feel right in my body, and I couldn't get myself to like kiss this person or share my body with this person when there's really no like romantic or deep connection there. I guess I'm just at a different point in my life now where that connection is more of a priority and something that I really do want and need in order to connect with somebody on a physical level. And not everybody is going to feel that way, and part of me wishes that like I didn't feel that way cuz I just want to kind of like go out and make out with people and have fun, like not crazy like strangers or anything, but I kind of wanted to like have that phase, and I realized that I just simply can't because I'm a very emotional person, and at this point of my life, I really do want to find that connection and have the physical connection follow after the emotional connection. So yeah, that was another thing that recently happened. But I think regardless of, these things not going the way that I thought they were going to go or maybe wanted them to go, they're happening for a reason. They're happening in the way that they're happening because that's what's meant to happen. That was a whole lot of happen. Holy shit. But you get what I mean, right? You get that everything happens for a reason, one way or another, whether we understand it in the moment or not. I was just really proud of myself that I was able to communicate with him, hey, I don't want to do this, because there have been times in the past where I was, having like the hookup scene and I didn't communicate those feelings, and I did share my body and do things with people that, you know, I wish I hadn't. Um, but back then, being 18 and not really having the confidence I have now, I felt like I had to do it in order to impress this person or in order to be cool or whatever it was I might have been feeling back then. But now I'm like, no, it's way more cool. It's way more attractive and confident to be able to communicate, hey, this doesn't feel right for me. I don't want to do this. And I walked away feeling really good about myself, knowing that I stayed true to what it is that I felt and what it is that I wanted in that moment. And the person that I was with this weekend was very respectful and very understanding, which is super appreciative and actually makes me consider like going out another time, which once again goes back to what I had mentioned earlier about communication. When you do communicate how you truly feel, depending on that person's response, you're going to get to know who they really are, right? Because this person could have had a really poor response and been like, what the fuck? You led me on. I thought we were going to do this and that. And he did not say that. I also want to note that I never apologized for feeling that way. And I've never apologized at all for feeling any way when messaging guys, when getting to know them and they say something, or I reply in a way or say something that is true to me. I never apologize. It's not, hey, look, I'm really sorry, but I just don't think that I can hook up with you. It's, hey, this doesn't feel right to me, and I hope that you can respect that. I'm not sorry, right? I'm not sorry for feeling the way that I feel. And I think as women, especially, we tend to apologize a lot for things, especially when it comes to guys. And that is a sign that there's a lack of confidence. I think that is a sign of you not really knowing your worth and feeling like, you're in the wrong for how you truly feel. And that probably comes from, years of trauma or just, people in the past making you feel that way. And I say that from experience, but it's definitely something to work on because it just makes you that much more attractive, I think, that much more confident knowing that you have no reason to be sorry for the way that you feel, whether it be not vibing with the person and telling them, hey, we have to, I'd like to go separate ways. This isn't really for me anymore. Or it be turning somebody down with a hookup or whatever it is. You have no reason to apologize as long as you're being true to yourself and you are, being kind about it, of course. Then you never have any reason to apologize and just keep on going. Keep on being yourself and having that energy that's going to one day attract that dream partner, that dream person of yours. But until then, just have fun. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Go out, meet people, have conversation, and really, really work on that love that you have for yourself. Really work on the relationship you have with yourself because no matter how many relationships you get in, no matter who you're seeing or what you're doing, the only relationship you will ever have for the rest of your life is the one that you have with yourself. And it's the most important one, it's the strongest one, or it should be the strongest one. You have to have so much love for yourself and an understanding of who it is that you are before you can pour into other people, whether that be a romantic relationship or a friendship or a parent or a sister, right? Brother, whoever. You knowing yourself and working on yourself and having that strong relationship with yourself will allow you to show up so much stronger in all of the other relationships in your life. So don't look at being single in your 20s as a bad thing or comparing yourself to girls who are getting married and having babies. I have seen plenty of girls that I went to high school with in that chapter, and that is so wonderful for them. But if you're not there yet, hey, I'm not either, and it's not where we're meant to be in this moment. But if it's something that you truly desire, then I do believe you will have it. I believe that you can attract all that you desire. I believe everything that you dream of can become your reality, but it really is about the way you act. Is the way you act. It really is, and that is exactly how you should approach dating. So, I think that's all I have for you today. I am loving dating and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Once again, just not putting pressure on myself. I'm not getting on dating apps. I'm really just letting it happen organically. And I love that. I think it's so much more fun. And once again, just takes off the pressure, especially if you're someone like me who maybe you have a little bit of an addictive personality. So like when I get on dating apps, in the past at least, when I tend to put a lot of my energy and focus into it in an unhealthy way. And I think by not having that and just letting it happen organically, it opens up more time for you to spend with yourself, which obviously you know that I'm really pushing here. So yeah, just really letting things happen as they're supposed to and enjoying being single because it's fun, okay? Like my birthday's coming up in less than a month and I'm just thinking about how I'm going to go out to the club with my friends and dance with guys and just have fun and not, be tied down, which of course I do hope to, be someone's wifey someday. I know that will happen, but for right now, I'm not going to wish that I had it or ask why hasn't it happened yet or why is it happening for those girls and not me. I'm not going to question it. I'm simply going to enjoy what life is offering me in this moment, which is the opportunity to get to know myself, to fall in love with myself, and to be sure of what it is that I want in a relationship. So when the time comes, I know that that relationship is exactly what I've been looking for. And I think that's beautiful. I think that being single is so much fun and a beautiful opportunity, especially when you're young, like in your early 20s, but at any age for sure. And that's it. I think that's it. So please let me know your thoughts on dating, where you're at now. If you have questions, maybe some things that you're looking for advice on, I would love to help. I feel as though my mindset around dating has transformed so much in the last year, and I love being able to help other young women navigate this time and really find their worth and understand your worth and you know just yeah. I feel like I'm talking in circles now, but let me know your thoughts on dating, where you're at, and share this with a friend who you feel might need to hear it. Also, if you could leave a comment on YouTube or a rating and review on Apple Podcast or Spotify, however you're listening, however you're tuning in, if you could leave some sort of review, comment, like, subscription, anything like that to help the show grow, I would really appreciate it. But it does help, more importantly, it does help the show reach other young women who may need to hear the messages that we share on here. So that is really why I ask for that favor, and it would mean the absolute world to me. So thank you for your patience with this late episode. I've learned my lesson there with making sure things are, set up on time so that I can get this out to you as promised at 9 o'clock on Monday mornings. But I appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming back to tune in. And be sure to come back next Monday for episode 4 of A Girl's Guide 2. And you can find me at Michaela Sadie on all socials and the show at A Girl's Guide to Podcast. Thank you. I love you and have a fabulous week.